So just because you search somebody's residence or vehicle or other property doesn't necessarily mean that that person is your suspect in the crime. It simply means that that place is likely to have evidence related to the crime.
The FBI just dropped a bombshell that no one saw coming. For months, everyone believed David was a monster behind Celeste Rivas's death, the face of evil in a tragedy that shocked the internet. But now everything's changed. After an intense raid on his house and a deep dive into his car, investigators uncovered evidence that flips the entire story upside down. David isn't the killer. The real question is, who set him up and why? Because this case just went from tragic to twisted.
Huge development in the case involving singer David and the body found in his Tesla. Police have executed a search warrant searching the house he was apparently staying at and walking out with what may well be evidence.
Now, let's get into it. When keeping it real goes completely wrong. You remember when the news first broke? A decomposed body found inside a Tesla, registered to that R&B dude everyone used to vibe to? It didn't even sound real at first. It sounded like something straight out of Netflix crime thriller. But this isn't a movie. This is real life. And real life, it's a whole lot darker when you're staring down a story this cold. The whole nightmare kicked off on what seemed like a regular Monday morning, September 8th, 2025. Workers at a Hollywood tow yard started catching a foul smell leaking out of a black Tesla Model 3 that had been sitting there for days. This wasn't just any car. It had Texas plates and was registered to David Anthony Burke. Yeah, that's David's government name for those who didn't know. The Tesla had been posted up on a random street in the Hollywood Hills for over 72 hours before someone finally called in as abandoned and had it towed. But here's where things get real shady. From the jump, the way this Tesla ended up abandoned was sketchy. Neighbors had already been talking. People were saying the car kept popping up in different spots around the hills for weeks, like somebody was playing musical parking spaces with body inside. And if you know anything about the Hollywood Hills, you know those rich folks don't play about strange cars sitting on their blocks. They were clocking that Tesla way before this turned into a crime scene. When the tow yard workers finally opened the trunk, the whole situation went from weird to horrifying. Inside the front trunk, wrapped up in some kind of bag, were severely decomposed and dismembered remains of what turned out to be a teenage girl. The body was in such bad shape that it took the coroner over a week just to figure out who she was. They only managed to identify her because of one small but crucial detail, a little H tattoo on her right index finger. And trust me, that detail is about to become real important later. This discovery had LAPD's Robbery Homicide Division stepping in fast. And that told everybody this wasn't some regular missing person case anymore. The body was so far gone, it had clearly been sitting in that Tesla for a while. We're talking weeks, maybe even months. That alone raised dark questions about what really went down and how deep this story went. Meanwhile, David wasn't even in LA when the body was found. He was hundreds of miles away, touring for his album Withered. On paper, that should have been his alibi. Thousands of fans had literally seen him on stage. His team wasted no time putting that narrative out there, saying he was fully cooperating and had nothing to hide. At first, it worked. Fans, industry heads, and media personalities all defended him hard. David had always been that good kid success story. The quiet, creative Houston boy who made beats on his iPhone in his sister's closet turned into a viral hit and blew up overnight. His song Romantic Homicide took him from Fortnite streams to Interscope Records, working with names like Zier and Key. To most people, the idea that this dude could be tied to murder sounded insane, but that image started to crack fast. LAPD confirmed the Tesla was one of several cars David owned, and that multiple people in his circle had access. That seemed to give him some distance. But then, something changed. Behind the scenes, brands started running. Crocs, Hollister, companies that had built entire campaigns around him suddenly cut ties overnight. No charges, no trial, just gone. And when corporations move that quick, it's usually because they know something the public doesn't. Then came the bombshell that flipped the narrative. TMZ tracked down the victim's mother, and what she said made everything darker. She confirmed the tattoo that helped identify her daughter. and then dropped the revelation that her daughter, Celeste, had been dating someone named David before she disappeared. That was the last person she was seen with. Suddenly, everything started to click, and none of it looked good. The victim was identified as 15-year-old Celeste Rivas Hernandez from Lake Elsinore, California. She'd been reported missing multiple times throughout 2024, her last disappearance in April, when she was just 14. And here's the part that broke everyone's heart. Her body was found on September 8th, the day after what should have been her 15th birthday. That timing felt almost intentional, like whoever did this wanted that date to mean something. Police immediately zeroed in on the Hollywood Hills house David had been staying in, rented under his manager's name, but basically his home base. The kicker? That Tesla was found just 100 feet away. Any experienced criminal would have dumped the body miles away. But this car, it was left right outside. That either meant pure panic, or someone who didn't care how close the evidence was. Then came the digital trail, the part that made this whole thing even more disturbing. Screenshots, archives, Discord messages that dated years back. Investigators discovered that David had been talking to a user named Celeste since 2021, when she was around 11 or 12 years old. What started on Roblox slowly moved to Discord DMs and private chats, a pattern every parent recognizes as classic grooming. And the SH tattoos. Yeah, both of them had matching ones on their right index fingers. Cops believed it was their secret symbol, their way of marking a relationship. The placement, timing, and context made impossible to ignore. And then came the music that a leaked demo track called Celeste Surface, allegedly recorded in late 2023. And the lyrics were haunting. The girl with my name tattooed on her chest. I smell her on my clothes like cigarettes. I hear her voice each time I take a breath. Investigators said the lyrics weren't just creepy, they were confessional. That song, plus the matching tattoo, plus the Discord chats, it all painted the same picture. People also noticed something else. Romantic Homicide, his breakout hit, dropped on September 7, 2022, Celeste's birthday. Fans began digging deeper and realized it wasn't a coincidence. David had a pattern of timing his releases around her birthday every year. That's not marketing. That's obsession. But the digital evidence didn't stop there. Deleted photos, hidden videos, even live streams allegedly showing him with a young girl whose face was turned away, all resurfaced. A TikTok teacher even came forward, claiming Celeste confided that she met David when she was 13, ran away to see him, got brought home, and then vanished again months later. Be why now? Everything was connecting. Her repeated disappearances, his music drops, the matching tattoos, the car, the location. Even his TikToks started looking different. Old reposts filled with violent, jealous lyrics suddenly looked like clues in plain sight. This wasn't just a random case. It was the unraveling of a years-long secret, one that had been hiding in front of millions of fans the entire time. And when investigators finally raided that Hollywood Hills house on September 17, 2025, that's when the whole truth started coming out. Then came another bizarre twist. David's mother, Colleen Burke, was photographed leaving a Texas gun store with an AR-15 manual in hand. Her first public sighting since the case broke. While there's no proven connection, the image went viral. People couldn't help but speculate. Was the family scared? Defensive? Preparing for something? The photo showed her walking beside an unidentified man, possibly security. But in the court of public opinion, it added another layer to an already twisted narrative. As the days passed, David's empire began to collapse. His record label, Intercope, suspended all promotions. His management team ghosted the press. Tour dates were wiped from the calendar, costing millions and leaving fans stranded. Collaborators like Kali Uchis started pulling songs off streaming platforms. Others quietly backed away, scrubbing his name from upcoming projects. Behind the scenes, insiders whispered that the industry knew more than the public did, and staying associated was no longer an option. Meanwhile, the medical examiner still hadn't confirmed the cause of death. Without proof of homicide, murder charges couldn't stick. But investigators could still go after obstruction, evidence tampering, or other felonies tied to the cover-up. Many online were furious, demanding to know why David hadn't been arrested yet. But legal experts explained, Building a case against someone this high profile takes time. One wrong move could trigger double jeopardy, meaning he could never be tried again. Prosecutors wanted an airtight case, not a rush headline. Finally, in late September, Celeste's body was released to her family. They held vigils in Lake Elsinore. Hundreds gathered to honor a young life taken too soon. The community mourned, but also demanded justice. Across social media, hashtag Justice for Celeste began trending. The outrage wasn't just about her death. It was about how easily something like this could happen in plain sight. Advocates pointed to platforms like Roblox, where Celeste reportedly first met David, calling for tighter safety rules to protect minors online. As the story spread, tragedy deepened. Celeste's brother, already grieving, began receiving DMs from strangers asking about the case, some even harassing him for details. It showed the dark side of internet obsession, how true crime curiosity can turn into cruelty. Law enforcement warned the public to let the investigation run its course, but the damage was already done. The pressure on that family was relentless. Now, the entertainment industry is left with a bitter reckoning. How much did the people around David really know? And how far were they willing to look the other way for fame, money, or music? The fact that so many insiders believe Celeste was an adult raises haunting questions about complicity and denial. This isn't just a story about one celebrity scandal. It's a mirror held up to the system that let it happen. The story of David and Celeste Rivas Hernandez is far from over. With forensic results still pending and legal proceedings just beginning, this case is more from a missing person mystery into a national reckoning, one that touches on child safety, digital predation, celebrity accountability, and the dangerous ways power can protect those who least deserve it. If you made it this far, you already know this isn't just another Hollywood story. It's a warning, because sometimes the real monsters don't hide in the dark. They live in plain sight.